Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitama Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurte Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhutaguhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarvavide Namaha. So verse 45 said, Avidya matra evatah samsarostva vivekatah kudasthena nityam atmavan atmanivasah. So this is the Vedantic principle, the way Vedanta presents. Atah avidya matra eva samsarah. Samsara, kartritva, bhoktritva, sukhitva, dukkhitva, which is what one experiences. Avidya matra, bhranti matra eva is nothing more than a bhranti. There is no reality whatever. So samsara is mithya in the sense of sukhitvam. Dukkhitvam, kartritva, bhoktritva has no reality. It's not there. This is called mithya. Is asat bhasavanam, which appears to be there, which is not really there. So Vedanta says that kartrutva, bhoktritva, lakshana samsara, or sukhitva, dukkhitva is not there whatever, and still it is felt to be there. That's called mithya. So mithya bhranti matra. Bhranti means seeing something which is not there, like a rope snake. Here swapnavadastu, like the dream. So what's the reason why this bhranti arises? Avivekatah, atmasvarupa avivekad. On account of not knowing the atmasvarupa, the essential nature of the self, and aviveka, taking the anatma dharma to be that of atma. Atmaniva atmadharmaiva bhasate. Therefore, the samsara, that kartrutva, bhoktrutva, atmaniva atmadharma, it is felt as though it is nothing but my own nature. So kartrutva, bhoktrutva, sukhitva, dukkhitva, which is not there really, and still it is taken to be there, as well as it is taken to be me, belonging to me, atmaniva, atma dharma, as though it is my nature. How does it happen? what is not there at all. This kartrutva, bhoktrutva which is not there, and still it is felt to be my dharma that I am karta bhokta. Avastu bhutasya atmani aparokshadaya. That avastu bhuta, the kartrutva is non-existent. And still atmani aparokshaya saditi. It is felt as though it is immediate reality about me. The kartrutva, bhoktrutva is I, not something that is I am karta, I am bhokta. So Atma is aparoksha, the kartrutva, bhoktrutva, aparokshata, pratibhase, kutasthena, atmana, nityam, atman, atmanivasah. The non-existent samsara gains the benefit of Atma. Atma is Satya, so samsara also is Satya. Atma is myself, immediate reality. Samsara also is immediate reality. And so, thus mutual identification happens. Upon Atma, kartrutva, bhoktrutva is superimposed. Upon kartrutva, bhoktrutva, atmatvam is superimposed. And so, karta, bhokta is experienced as my own intimate self. So, nityamiti, in short, this is how it is on its own without any reason. So, this is the explanation that Vedanta provides of the sense of kartrutva, bhoktrutva is just representatives. Sukhitva, dukkhitva, sense of smallness, inadequacy, sense of self-dissatisfaction, all of this is samsara, for which there is no cause whatever logically, and still it is experienced or taken to be real as Atma is. So reality of Atma and the intimacy of Atma are superimposed upon samsara, kartrutva, bhoktrutva, and kartrutva, bhoktrutva belong to buddhi, superimposed upon Atma. This is the way Vedanta explains why do we feel the way we feel about ourselves. And why do we say samsara is non-existent? Because Upanishad says you are Brahman. So as we said, Upanishad is pramanam. Who am I for determining that my experience is not the pramanam, my conclusion is not the pramanam? Upanishad is pramanam. If I am Brahman, as Upanishad says, and doesn't make sense for me to think that I am karta, bhokta, so this is all wrong, that is how samsara is mithyatvam. We said, Vedanta derives the understanding of samsara based on understanding of Brahman. Vedanta does not go to cause from effect. Explain effect from the cause. Cause is Brahman. How do you explain samsara? Superimposition. Not the samsara is there and what is the cause of it? No. That's not the way, because then it's not pramanam, then your logic is pramanam. Vedantana Upanishad pramanam. Upanishad says sarvam khalvidam brahma. So there is pramanam. Aham brahmasmi. Then other than that, if you experience or feel something else, it has to be wrong. Therefore, the kartrutva, bhoktrutva, I think I am, that has to be wrong if I am Brahman. So if it is wrong, how do you feel the way? Then this is a prakriya of adhyasa or mutual superimposition. That kartritva, bhoktritva belongs someplace. And it's transferred upon, superimposed upon Atma. And Atmatvam is there, immediacy is there, selfness is there, which is also superimposed upon the kartritva, bhoktritva. Meaning that this is apt to, this has no reality whatever. My sense of smallness, limitedness, inadequacy about myself has no reality whatever. Bhranti matra eva, merely bhranti. Avivekatah, on account of aviveka, non-discrimination, not knowing the true nature of self and non-self. So this is the basic principle. Now this is debated. Is question that why do you think that samsara belongs to the chidabhasa? So now therefore a model is given of reflection of face in the mirror. So also reflection of consciousness in ahamvritti. Ahamvritti is where the kartrutva, bhoktritva is. And it is felt to be real because it receives, it is enlivened in the presence of consciousness. So kartrutva, bhoktritva is felt to be the life. The enlivenment comes from consciousness, so the model there is that consciousness as though becomes reflected in this ahankara, ahamvritti, which assumes form of kartrutva, bhoktritva. Rajju sarvo yasa rajva satmakaha. The rope snake, how does it get reality? Because of rope, the snake also appears to be real. Prag vivekatha. Before the viveka of Rajju and Sarpa, the snake appears to be as real. With the reality of snake is something that is derived from the rope. Avastu sannapi, even though there is no entity called snake that exists there. Avastu san. There is no reality whatever in snake, and still satmakaha, snake appears to be the real possessor of the selfness Atma because of Rajju. So Atmatma of the snake is something that is derived from Rajju. Kutasthena Atmana tatha, so this kartrutva, bhoktritva is like snake, rope snake. But derives its selfness, reality because of Atma. Then kechana, some people say, why do you go all this long way? That kartrutva belongs to ahamvritti and then it is reflected, because of consciousness, reflection, it appears to be self. So why do you go long way? Why didn't you simply say the Atma is karta bhokta? Atma abhas ashrayascha Atma pratyahi swahi vikaravan. Atma abhas ashraya. Atma is the ashraya of Atma bhasa, of the reflection of consciousness, is in Atma, not in ahamvritti. You say that Atma bhasa, chidabhasa is an ahamvritti, and then is thought to belong to Atma. Why don't you say that chidabhasa in Atma itself? The Atma is samsari. Sukhi dukkhi cha samsari teveti kechana. Some people believe that Atma is sukhi dukkhi and samsari. Not that Atma borrows or Atma appears to be samsari on account of something else. Atma is samsari. So is a samsara is somewhere and then is in Atma. Why not in one step say that Atma is samsari? Atma bhasa parijnana dhyatatmena vimohitaha. Because aparijnana, they do not have the knowledge of Atma bhasa, Chidabhasa. They say, why do you imagine Chidabhasa? Why do you think samsara belongs to Chidabhasa and appears in Atma? Samsara belongs to Atma. That would be a simple explanation. Atma bhasa aparijnanat. Because they have no understanding of this Chidabhasa, which is not Atma but can appear as Atma. Aparijna yathatmena vimohitaha. Therefore, they are deluded with reference to the reality of the self. Ahankartaram atmeti manyante te niragamaha. Therefore, those who do not understand the tatparya of agama, what is that is sought to be conveyed by the Upanishad, they don't understand. And therefore, ahankartaram atma iti manyante. So they think that the short understanding, simple understanding is Atma is Ahankarta. Not Ahankarta is elsewhere and then it's thought to belong to Atma. Atma is Ahankarta. That is because they do not accept an entity called Chidabhasa or Atma Bhasa. So here there is intermediary entity. Atma is there, face is there, mirror is there, and then there is a reflection of the mirror. So Atma is there, Aham Vritti is there, Aham Vritti in place of mirror, and Chidabhasa in place of reflection, reflected consciousness. They don't understand that. So they think that Atma alone is Karta Bhokta. So it was shown how Upanishad has both the kinds of statements, but Atma and Atma Bhasa also is in fact referred to by Upanishads. Atma, Atma Bhasa, and Atma Bhasa Ashraya. Three entities are there. Atma is there, consciousness is there, reflected consciousness is there, and that where the consciousness is reflected, Aham Vritti. That is, like the mirror. And it is not that this is purely our imagination. So, Niragamaha, so Sagamaha, those who understand the purport of Agama ourselves. It is not that this is purely imagination that we talk about the Atma, Atma Bhasa, Atma Bhasa. Three things we talked about. Atma, Atma Bhasa, Chidabhasa, and Atma Bhasa Ashraya, Aham Vritti. If you study the Upanishads, you will find this. Nishkalam, Niskriyam, Shantim, Niravayavam, Niranjanam, Atma, Sakshi, Cheta, Kevalo, Nirgunascha. So Cheta, Chetaita, so that which enlivens everything, which is the very witness, unconnected witness. Krishna prajnana gana eva, of nothing but of the nature of pure consciousness. So this is how Atma is expounded in Upanishads. Then who is Atma Bhasa? Who is the Jivatma? Atrayam Purusha. Then Anishaya Shochati Mukhyamanaha. Mukhyamanaha Shochati. So one who is variously deluded, meaning they are shifting identification to various things. Now identify with Aham Vritti, Buddhi, then mind, then sense organs, then body, etc., etc. Meaning that the notion of I keeps on shifting. It is not that I constantly think that I am a Karta or Bhokta. Sometimes I am tall, I am short, I am fair, I am lean. I'm father, mother, happy, unhappy. Thus, the identification keeps on shifting in different levels of my personality or upadhi. So, variously deluded. Not that I always think I'm a karta. Sometimes karta, bhokta, sukhi, dukhi, tall, short, etc. That keeps on changing depending upon the nature of identification. But in each case, anishaya, and the sense of helplessness is always involved. Whether I am karta, bhokta, pita, putra, whoever I am, the anishatvam, helplessness is constant, is the underlying thought or underlying perception. Shochati, therefore, each one of those notions about myself creates shoka or grief. Thus, the Jivatma or Samsari also is very clearly delineated in Upanishads. Atmana avidyaka samsaritva anuvadaparam. That samsara is also described in Upanishad. How is it described? Avidyaka samsaritva avidyaya antare vartamana. A samsaritvam, anishatvam, helplessness is avidyaka muhyamana. Because moha, because of superimposition that he feels anisha. Yada pashyate rukmaranam kartaramisham purusham brahmayonim. But when he sees, when viveka is there, then recognizes what the true nature is. Meaning that when we talk of a jivatma, is not a figment of our imagination. This jivatma is very well delineated, described in the Upanishads. Atma also is expounded. Jivatma also is clearly expressed or explained or described, I should say. There is an entity called Jivatma. Atma is not Jivatma. So who is Jivatma then? Jivatma is the Atma identified with ignorance and productive ignorance, which is Chidavasa, and the Atma feels a sense of Jivatvam on account of identifying with avidya and avidya karyam, which is ahamvritti, etc. But those who take Atma to be samsari, moksho be esham durlabhaiti. If samsara is real, there cannot be moksha at all. So 49th verse says, samsaro vastu samstesham कर्तृभोक्तृत्व लक्षणः आत्माभासाश्रया ज्ञानात् संसरन्त्य विवेकतः. तेषां कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्व लक्षणः संसारः वस्तु सन्. Tesham mate, in the opinion. So they do not realize what it is that they in fact are accepting. So you think you have checkmated that fellow, you get checkmated yourself. By trying to simplify the explanation, saying that Atma is samsari, Atma is real. There was samsara, vastu santesham. Tesham mate, samsara, vastu san. Paramartha san bhavet. Vastu means paramartha. Because Atma is Vastu or reality. Therefore, if samsara is the nature of Atma, samsara also is real. And what is real cannot be eliminated, cannot be destroyed. Na sato vidyate bhava, na bhavo vidyate satah. Asatah bhava na vidyate. Asat never exists, even though it may appear to be. Satah abhava na vidyate, and Sat never ceases to exist. So, if the samsara also is Sat, it can never cease to exist. That's the whole idea. Atma is Sat. If samsara is nature of Atma, samsara also is Sat. And what is Sat can never cease to exist, it will be permanent. This is a niyama. That asataha bhavaha na vidyate, sataha abhavaha na vidyate. Thus, if samsara is Sat, abhavaha, it can never not be. Avinashi samsara iti tesham mate. They do not realize that they are admitting that samsara is avinashi, because Atma is avinashi. Iti tesham mate moksha siddhi. If samsara is real, then there cannot be liberation, because the real can never be eliminated. Meaning that if my sense of limitedness is really my nature, then you can never become free from that. Not only you cannot become free, you need not become free. We do not have a problem with ourselves, our true nature. We have a problem with our perceived nature of self, not with the true nature of self. I never have a problem that I am, never have a problem. We don't have a problem with what is. Like this man goes to the ophthalmologist and says, I have a problem. What's the problem? I see. He says, what? You see? You see two where there is one? No, I see one where there is one. You see one where there is two? I see two where there is two. You cannot see red? I see red as red. Yellow as yellow. You cannot see distantly? Oh, I can see beyond, much beyond this. You cannot see at night? I see everything at night. I see, the doctor says, you are in the wrong place. You must go upstairs. So, you will be treated, another person you require. You don't need an ophthalmologist. You require a psychologist or something. But nobody, this is ridiculous. Nobody heard this conversation cannot be there. Nobody can complain that I see. Nobody can complain about what is real. So there is no complaint. If I am limited in my nature, I would not be unhappy. I would be comfortable being limited. But I am not comfortable with myself. This is a basic problem. That I am not comfortable as I perceive myself, understand. Therefore, to become comfortable, all that is needed is to change perception. I don't have to change. I have to change my perception. Iti moksha aprapti bhayat. Then he says, no, moksha we would accept. Otherwise, no point in scripture at all. If moksha aprapti bhayat, samsarasa avastutvam tevimanyeran. So when you make this argument and it's checkmated, that based on what you say, hey, you will never become liberated, it's okay, no, moksha is there, has to be there. Then samsara cannot be there. Meaning samsara cannot be real for moksha to be there. Samsarasa avastutvam tevimanyeran, in that if they also accept the avastutvam, unreality of samsara, and apparent nature of samsara, that is a brahma, not a reality. Tari asmadukta prakaya sa iti anujana, then he, accepts our own opinion. The asmadukta prakar. Then you would accept the method that we have stated to explain samsara. There is no problem with samsara, problem with the way we explain samsara, because it's too long drawn, the way you explain. You try. Oh, Atma is samsara, then these are the consequences. No, then it cannot be. So we accept also moksha, so we accept samsara also. Then you are accepting our opinion. Atma bhasa shaya jnanat. Atma, avasa, ashaya. Three things are there. Atma, consciousness. Avasa, ashaya, ahamvritti. Avasa, reflection of ahamvritti, chidavasa. So, ajnanat, not knowing these three So, Veda Graha, that these three things are there. Vedanta say there are three entities, Atma is there, Aham Vritti is there, and Chidabhasa is there. And you understand each of them for what they are. Veda Graha, when you don't recognize the Veda or the distinction that obtains between them, and therefore you take them to be one, samsaranti, those who think that I am a samsari, will continue to remain samsari. Samsaranti avivekataha. Because of avivekaha, avivek means not being able to distinguish between Atma, Atma Bhasa and Adhara. They take them to one, then they take some sort of real and therefore subject themselves to some, because then they try to solve real samsara. Like a desire arises in our mind, we take that desire to real and try to solve it by fulfilling that desire. It will never go. An illegitimate problem cannot be solved. Samsara is an illegitimate problem about Atma. So try to solve it in a real way, it cannot be. Recognize what's the nature of the problem. Parapakshe mokshanam doshamuktva swapakshe tu abhasa abhyupagame la visheshamaha. So this is how Vedanta is justifying the introduction of this concept called Chidabhasa. So there is Chit and there is Chidabhasa. And Abhasa calls for the ashraya or the locus of reflection, that is the Aham Vritti, which is product of Ajnana. So that way Vedanta has justified the acceptance of this Chidabhasa. Purvapakshi tried to avoid accepting Chidabhasa, an intermediate entity, and proposed that why not Atma is samsari, that would be a simple explanation. Then these are the problems. Therefore, you will accept this entity called Chidabhasa. Labha Vishesham. So not only that helps us explain or understand what the nature of samsara is, that is Brahma, but further Labha is also there. So that's what next verse is. Chaitanya bhasata buddhe Atmanastat-swarupata Syat-chetam jnana-shabdaischa Veda-shasti-iti yujyate. Chaitanya avasata buddhehe. Once buddhehe, Chaitanya avasata. Buddhi is that Abhasa which reflects consciousness, so which is ashraya of Chaitanya Vasa, Chidabhasa. Atmana tat swarupata, and Atma is Chaitanya Swarupa. Atma is the nature of consciousness, and Buddhi is that which reflects that consciousness. Syat-chet, if this is so. So from the now reasoning, now we accept this, otherwise you can't explain samsara. If this is so, then further advantage. What's the further advantage? Jnana sabdaischa Veda Shasti iti yujyate. Veda Shasti. Then Veda teaches Jnana sabdaischa satyam jnana anantam brahma. So Jnana sabdaischa, the words such as Jnanam, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, mainly Jnanam here. Jnanam, Vijnanam, etc. Vijnanam, Anandam, Brahma. So because Atma is Chaitanya consciousness or Jnana Swarupa, so when the Veda uses the word Jnanam as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, there Jnanam is nothing but consciousness. So Atma Swarupata, if consciousness is the nature of Atma, then Yujyate is quite appropriate that Upanishad says Atma is Jnanam, Jnana Swarupa, consciousness. Had Atma not been Jnana Swarupa, then Upanishads teaching that Atma is Satyam Jnanamanda would not make sense. Even though you think that you are a samsari, Upanishad says you are consciousness. That will make sense only if the samsara was the Brahma. And Chidabhasa is taken to be Atma. Jnana Shabdaisya Veda Shastri iti yujyate. Then only it is proper and appropriate that Veda, meaning Upanishad, communicates to us by the words such as Jnanam, describes Atma as having Jnanam or consciousness. So Tika says Buddhe Antahkaranasya Chaitanya Abhasata. Call it Buddhi, call it Antahkaranam, Chaitanya Abhasata. So Antahkaranam is such a substance. It is a transparent, pure, clean substance, like water. It is nature of a transparent medium to reflect any object which is shining object. Just as water reflects the shining objects such as sun, so also Antahkarana is like that transparent substance of which the nature is to reflect the consciousness. So this is Sahajatadatmya. Therefore Chaitanya Abhasata Buddhe. So Buddhi being Swachha Dravyam, it is its nature to reflect consciousness. And Atmana, therefore the Chaitanata is not the nature of Buddhi. The Chaitanya which appears in Buddhi is Abhasa. And Chaitanya is Swarupa of Atma. Atmana Chaitanya Swarupata cha Chet Syat. If, as we say, now if this is what we accept, because other explanation doesn't work, then further advantage of this model is what? Tada Vedaha Tamatmanam Jnana Shabdaihi. If Atma is the nature of consciousness, then only is appropriate that Veda teaches that Atma is consciousness. Veda says Jnana Shabdaihi. Words such as Jnanam, Satya, Jnana, Satya, Ananta, Ananda, Atma Devi Shabdaihi. Sometimes Upanishad says Atma is Jnana Swarupaha, sometimes Anantaha, sometimes Anandaha, sometimes Atma. Atma itek evagrasid. Atma itek evagra. So Atma Shabda also is used. Satyam Jnanam, Jnanam Shabda is also used. Ananda Shabda is also used. Vijnanam Anandam, Ananda Shabda also is used. All the way Shruti will communicate about Atma or expound Atma with these words. Only if that is the Swarupa of Atma. If Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Anandam, all of this is the Swarupa or the essential nature of Atma, then only it will be proper that the Upanishad teaches Atma by these words. Shastri Pratipa Yujyate Ghatate, then alone. So it is all the limitations of Chidavasa and Atma remains limitless, even though appearing to be limited. Then only the Upanishad says Anantam Brahma, limitless, that would be appropriate, proper. So this is an additional advantage of this model where we say that samsara belongs to Chidavasa and Atma is ever free, ever liberated, ever limitless. Ayam bhava. So this is the how it is explained. Prakasha svabhavastu yatra pratibimbate tatra prakasha avasoda hetuhu tad bhavati. Yatha jale pratibimbita savita. So imagine that in dark room there is a bucket full of water, and there is an aperture, a hole in that wall of the room from which a ray of sun enters the room. and falls on the surface of water, so gets reflected. Then prakasha abhasa udaya. In water, the udaya, the arising of the lightness, meaning that the water also become as though enlightened. Water, which is a transparent medium, and light is not the nature of water. But then that reflection of sun becomes hetu or the cause of making water enlightened, so lightened. So this is the nature. This is called the sahaja tadatmya, a natural phenomenon that wherever there is a transparent reflecting medium, a lighted object will get reflected and make that medium of reflection also lighted up. Just as the sun lights up the water where it gets reflected, even though to be lighted is not the nature of water. But the reflection of sun becomes instrumental in doing that. So, tatra prakasha abhasodaya hetu. That pratibimba becomes a hetu, the reason for the prakasha abhasa, for apparent light in the medium of reflection. Tatha buddha. So the idea is that the model of reflection is because of this. Not that we are saying there is a real reflection. But what would a reflection do? A reflection becomes instrumental in the appearance of lightedness and the reflecting medium such as water. And here also buddhi becomes lighted with consciousness and love, and therefore we say that it is similar to a reflection. You follow? Prakasha svabhavam vastu yatra pratibhimbate. Where prakasha svabhavam vastu, a vastu of nature of prakasha or light, where it gets reflected, tatra prakasha abhasodaya hetu tadbhavati. Then that vastu, like sun, becomes the hetu, cause for prakasha udaya, of the appearance of light in that reflecting medium as water. So that is why the reflection model. What happens is as though there was reflection. If reflection is there, this is what would happen. So that's happening. That is why reflection. So don't imagine this reflection and stuff like that. Phenomenon is similar. Effect is similar. Therefore, had there been reflection, this is what would have happened. And that's what is happening. Tatha buddho pratibimbitam chaitanyam tatra chit prakashodaya hetur bhavati. Similarly also, the chaitanyam, the consciousness, buddho pratibimbitam. So buddhi here is like the water medium, conscious in the place of sun, and just sun becomes the hetu or the cause for lighting of water. So consciousness becomes hetu for enlivening the buddhi. So buddhi also becomes lighted up, becomes conscious because of the consciousness reflected in the buddhi. Chit prakashodaya hetu bhavati. Consciousness becomes the cause for appearance of consciousness in buddhi. That is how the sabhasa buddhi. Abhasena sahita buddhi, meaning that buddhi now becomes as though possessed of the abhasa, the reflection. The effect is similar. Had buddhi become possessed of the reflection, how would have buddhi been? Then buddhi would have been also enlivened. So that is what is happening. Tatah sabhasayam buddhau gruhita sambandhai. So now the buddhi has sambandha with consciousness. The thing is that consciousness is transcendental. Buddhi is vyavaharika. How can the transcendental principle be taught by vyavaharika shabda? Any word can only describe a vyavaharika phenomenon. How can a word like that become the means of communicating what is transcendent? So, Shakya Sambandha Lakshana. Some Sambandha must be there. So, thus consciousness becomes related to Buddhi. So, even though the word Jnanam may directly apply to only reflection of consciousness Buddhi, your knowledge, but because now Buddhi is related, Sambandha is there with consciousness, therefore the word Jnanam also by Sambandha becomes the word for Lakshyartha. Shakya Sambandha Lakshyartha. Tatah Sabhasayam Buddho Gruhita Sambandhaihi. So now Gruhita Sambandha is there. Now Buddhi becomes Sambandha, meaning that related to consciousness. The Buddhi is has Vyavaharika Satta. Consciousness, Paramahik, there is no relationship. Now, how this transcendent principle ever can become the cause for Vyavahara? That's how the transcendent Atma becomes the cause of all Vyavahara by so-called reflection. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham samvavatsara bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. That it is my Maya which has all the potential of creation. And then when the time of creation comes, I get so reflected in Maya, Maya becomes enlivened, and that's how the creation takes place. Tatah sabhasayam buddho gruhita sambandhaihi. Therefore Buddhi, which now has sambandha with consciousness by being the reflecting medium, Jnanadi Shabde Vedaha Atmanam Lakshana Bodhayati. So word Jnanam would primarily apply to Buddhi, meaning the reflected consciousness, and by implication apply to consciousness that is reflected. So now because the reflection has relation with the image, therefore the word used for reflection can help you understand what the true meaning is, because the reflection cannot be jnanam, etc. When you examine, then all the mithya bhaga goes away. And therefore, you come to that is why the bhagatyaga lakshana is there, that what is the limitedness in sun and etc., when it is given up, what remains is light. And that's how Lakshana bodhayati sangachyate. That the word such as Jnanam, bodhayati, helps us understand the nature of Atma by Lakshana vritti, that primarily even though it applies to the Chidabhasa, but since that Chidabhasa doesn't have the capacity or the nature of the meaning, direct meaning of the word Jnanam. Because Jnanam is formless. Consciousness is formless, limitless, and then this is light, all right, but limited light is there. So the limitation is now dropped, and the light part is what was explained here as by Lakshana vritti. Meaning limited reflection is also related to limitless image. Is sangachyate, and that is how it is possible for one to contemplate upon the reflection and recognize the unreal part of reflection and drop it, and then realize that the true nature is only light or consciousness. So sambandha is that is how it is sangachyate. Anyatha nirdharmake atmani shabda pravritti anupatte. Otherwise, no word can describe Atma. But word becomes like a pole vault which you can drop and understand the Lakshyartha. Vedanta Vedyata Tasana Siddhet. So no word can describe Atma Vachyartha. And still the question was, Upanishad still communicate in words. How can it be? Only by Lakshyartha. See, word did not have lakshyarthata, then word would be ineffective or of no use at all. The fact that the Upanishads communicate in words means that words must work, and words cannot work by vachyartha because Atma is nirdharmaka, cannot become the direct meaning of the word Atma even. Therefore, by lakshyartha, the word communicates, and that makes sense. Otherwise, Atmani nirdharmake, Atmani shabda pravati anupatte. Atma is nirdharmaka, and no shabda can directly describe Atma. Vedanta Vedita na siddhet, then Atma cannot become Vedanta Vedya also known by Vedanta. All right, Vedanta is not the Praman. Manantaram na tatra kramate, and no other Praman also has a scope with Atma. Not Pratyaksha, Anumana and other Pramanas based on Pratyaksha have no scope because Atma is a very illuminator. And so, the eyes cannot illumine what illumines eyes. And therefore, Manantaram, there is no other Pramana. So perception is not the Pramana, and all inference and everything based on perception cannot have scope with reference to Atma. It's all earlier explained. Gochara, that Shabda Pratyaya Gocharo Atmana Bhavati. So Manantaram cha tatra na kramate. So Shabda is only Pramanam. And Shabda not by Vachyartha, by Lakshyartha. Then this is the way Lakshya. So this, when we explain the samsara in this manner, with this, the whole model of Chidabhasa, then makes sense. How the words of Upanishads can help us and lead to the knowledge of Atma. Why? By the Lakshyartha. Otherwise, if word cannot lead you to knowledge of Atma, there is no other means of knowing Atma, in which case Atma asiddheva Atma syat, there will be no even proof that Atma is. Iti abhasa abhyavagama. That is how the teacher justifies abhasa abhyavagama. Acceptance of the Chidabhasa has this further advantage that the Upanishad words can lead us to knowledge by Lakshyartha. Shruti Smriti Nyaya Vidbhi Kartavya. Therefore, those who are wise with reference to Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya also, they have to accept this Chidabhasa. Then only the whole methodology can be explained, or can be justified. यद्यपि एवं आभास अभ्युपगमे वेद प्रवृत्ति आत्म उपपद्यते एवं आभास thus by accepting abhasa in this manner atmani veda pravruti upapadyate, that yes, the veda pravruti, the Vedas communicate or teach that upapadyate is quite tenable with reference to Atma. That Vedas communicate through words, and words can lead to knowledge of Atma by Lakshyartha, provided we accept this Chidabhasa, which is Vachyartha. And Vachyartha should lead to Lakshyartha, which is related. Alright, so he is conceding ground little by little. Tathapi, even then, asmin jnanitya shabda na pravartayanti. And still, asmin janati ityadi shabda na pravartayan. So Atma, in this Atma janati, that he knows, that cannot apply to Atma. So who is the entity that says janati, that I know? Or Devadatta knows. What is that entity? Atma cannot be that. And Chidabhasa also cannot be that. Iti vyavahar asiddhi prasajjeda iti. So even though the words of the Vedas can communicate through the Lakshyartha, but all vyavahar is all Vachyartha. So janati, when we say karoti, janati, Devadatta does, Devadatta knows, Devadatta goes, gacchati. So if Atma is thus transcendental, then Chidabhasa is inert by itself, because Aham Vritti, then how do you justify this Vyavahara that Janati, Karoti, he knows, he does? So Asiddhi, you can't explain how the Vyavahara takes place. Either that is a Shanka, or Nanu, Jnana Shabda, Vyutpadyamana, Atmani, Mukhyam Vrittim, Labhateva. Or Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma. Jnana Shabda, Vyutpadyamana. When you see the Vyutpatti or the etymological meaning of the word Jnanam, to know, Jnana means to know, Atmani Mukhyam Vrittim Labhateva, then the word Jnana can apply to Atma in a primary sense. Because Jnana can mean knowledge or the Jnapti or the consciousness. In that case, word Jnanam can apply to Atma in the primary sense. So why do you need this Abhasa? You say that the word Jnana applies primarily to Chidabhasa and by Lakshyatha to Atma. But when you see the word Jnanam, and Jnana means to know, so therefore it says Atmani Mukhyam Vrittim Labhateva. If you analyze the nature of the word Jnanam, then looks like that Jnanam describes Atma. You don't need this intermediate thing. Atah katham sabhasa buddhivachaka san. So Vedanta said that the word Jnanam primarily applies to sabhasa buddhi, and Lakshyat applies to Atma. So then two ways objection was raised. If Atma is not really the meaning of the word Jnanam, then Janati, then how do you use this word that he knows, etc.? Or why not say Jnana applies to Atma by Vachyartha, not Lakshyartha? In that case, where is the need for the Sabhasa Buddhi? That Jnanam by Vachyartha is Sabhasa Buddhi, dharma of Sabhasa Buddhi, and by Lakshyartha, the Lakshana of Atma. Why? Jnanam can mean Lakshana of Atma directly, either that way, or if it belongs to Sabhasa Buddhi, then how do you justify the use of the Janati, Karoti, etc.? So now goes to a little more. The next Prakriti, the next verse is verse 51. Prakriti pratyayartho yo भिन्ना वेकाश्रयौ यथा करोति गच्छति इत्यादौ दृष्टो लोकप्रसिद्धितः. Prakriti pratyayarthau yau. Prakriti and pratyaya. Prakriti means this root stem, like gum. You see, Prakriti means that the root or root stem, it is called the bija. To that you apply pratyaya, suggesting pratyaya, then it becomes gacchati. Vad vadati, gam gacchati, kru karoti. So kru becomes the Prakriti. Prakriti means the original substance. But then Prakriti always requires modification by applying. So in Vyakaranam you cannot use the original word, you have to use it after applying the suffix. So this Prakriti or this Kriyapadam, it's called Kriyapada. Pada means a word. So Kriyapada means a word that signifies Kriya or action. So every root stem implies an action. Kru means to do, Dush means to see, etc. It's all Kriyapada. But it can be used only after you apply the suffix to that. The ting pratyaya is there, so kru plus ting becomes karoti. So kru is the prakriti, the root stem, the original substance. Then the pratyaya is the ti, that's how karoti. So prakriti pratyayartha, prakrutyartha and pratyayartha. The meaning of prakriti is the original root and pratyaya the suffix. Yau भिन्नौ एकाश्रयो यथा. So these are भिन्नौ. Prakriti is one, kr, and pratyati is other different. Ekashrayo, but both of them have ashraya in one. Look, one locus. Then only karoti comes. Karoti, gacchati, ityadu drishtau. That even though Prakriti and Pratyaya are true entities, and still we find that in such excuse as Karoti, Gacchati, the Kru and Ti, both of them are in the same locus. Or Gam and Ti becomes Gacchati in the same locus. Drushtu, Loka Prasiddhitaha. Thus we find them in the same locus. Now Vedantin won't say the locus is different. See, now the where is Prakriti and where is Pratyaya? But in day-to-day life there we find Prakriti and Pratyaya, both of them are the same locus. So Kru and Ting becomes Karoti, Gam and Ting becomes Gacchati. So Loka Prasiddhita, we find one Devadatta alone is the Prakriti and he is locus of the Prakriti and Pratyaya. Devadatta Gacchati. So Devadatta goes. So Devadatta is the locus of Gam as well as Ting, Gacchati, Kru, Karoti. Loka Prasiddhitaha, this is how we, now Loka Prasiddhi, this is what the common understanding is. Next verse is, Nanayor Vyashrayatvam cha Loke Drushtam Smrutau Tatha Janatyartheshu ko hetuhu Dvyashrayatve nigadyatam. Here you are talking about two ashraya. One is Chidabhasa is one ashraya and Atma is another ashraya. But here in the Vyavahara we find only one ashraya. So Dvyashraya, Dvi-ashrayatvam means these two ashrayas. Nanayoho Dvi-ashrayatvam loke drushtam. We do not find that the Prakriti meaning Gam and the Pratyaya meaning Ti, they are in same Devadatta. We don't find them to be in different locuses. And here you are saying that the Vachyartha applies to Chidabhasa, Lakshyartha applies to Atma. So two ashrayas is what you are suggesting here, and we don't find that in experience. In experience only one ashraya is there. Smrita Vyakarana also. So not only our Vyavahara is based on that, Vyakarana also accepts it. That Devadatta is ashraya about Kru and Ting. Janati artheshu ko hetu. Janati is another one. Jnanti. Ko hetu dvashrayatve nigadyatam. Hey Vedantin, please tell us what is the reason why you are accepting two ashrayas. That janati, that Gnya has one ashraya, Ting has another ashraya. Gam has one ashraya, Ti is another ashraya. Atma is one ashraya, Chidabhasa another ashraya. Two accepting two ashrayas, whereas the experience is that they have locus in the same ashraya, same locus. Hetuhu nigadyatam. You please explain. So then quote they say, So my learned friend, may explain this please. He knows that he's stupid. Or he thinks he's stupid anyway. So may my learned friend please explain how this comes about, So the Tika says, Prakrutyartha kriya. Prakriti-artha kriya means Gam or Gnya, etc. Pratyartha kartrutvam to janati. So Gnya is a Kriya, and when you apply the pratyaya, ting pratyaya, then Janati, he is the locus of the act of knowing, you see. Gacchati goes. Devadatta goes means what? Devadatta is the locus of the act of going. Devadatta knows, meaning Devadatta is the locus of the act of knowing. So prakrutyartha kriya, pratyartha kartrutvam. Kriya, knowing, so to know, to go, etc. is the meaning of prakriti, the root stem, and when you apply that ting pratyaya, then it becomes karta. So janati, gacchati becomes the locus of the act of knowing, act of going. तो उभौ स्वरूपतः भिन्नौ एकस्मिन् आश्रये स्थितौ. Even the स्वरूपतः भिन्नम. So kriya is one thing, prakriti, and pratyaya is another thing. So they are not same. They are swarupatah bhinno, meaning that they are different by nature. Ekasmin ashrayas, but then both of them we find them located in one devadatta, devadatta gacchati, karoti. Ityadu loke drishtu. This is what we find. We don't find two ashraya of prakriti and pratyaya. But Vedanta wants to show that. But anyway, so that's why this is what we think in Vyavahara. Yatha tatha loka prasideva janati karo ityadavi ekat. So, atmanikashrayatvam yuktam. Therefore it is proper. That janati, so atma knows. Gacchati atma goes. That is, knowing is in one place and going in another place. I mean, no, kriya is in one place and the pratyaya is in another place. Kartrutva is in Chidabhasa. And kriya is in atma. Something like this, what Vedanta is saying. But we don't find these two different ashrayas, we find one ashraya alone. And therefore, eka ashrayatvam yuktam. Therefore, in absolute sense also, there must be only one ashraya for both. Iti artha. Yada ekashva anayo drushtam. Just as you find that one ashraya, one locus for the prakriti and pratyaya, the bhinnashanadi kvachit kim nasya, then why? All right. You see same locus for prakriti pratyaya. Why not there can be also two different ashrayas? Why can it not be? Tatha kvachit kim nasya. If two entities are in one locus, they could be in different locuses also. Why not? As a possibility. Even though you find these two, prakriti, pratyaya, located in one locus, but then since there are two, it is always likely that they may have different locuses. Why not? So the Purvapakshi says, Nanayoho dvashrayatvam cha loke drushtam smutau tatha. Anayoho dvi ashrayatvam loke na drushtam. Anayoho prakriti pratyayoho dvi ashrayatvam. Means dvi ashrayatvam means the state of having two ashrayas, that they have different locuses. Na drushtam, loka prayogeshu na drushtam. In our day-to-day vyavahara, we don't find that. So even though if they are two, they can be in different ashrayas also. Why not? That was the question. He says, no, we don't see it. Even though there are two different things, prakriti and pratyaya, we always see them in one ashraya. Loka prayoga drushtam tatha smrutau. Not only in the vyavahara we find, vyakaranadu, then in vyakarana also, vyakarana says that both of them are same ashraya. अतः जानात्यर्थेषु द्वाश्रयत्व अभ्युपगमे को हेतुः. Therefore, janati. You say Gnya is in one place, T is in another place. Vedanta will say that T belongs to Chidabhasa and Gnya belongs to Atma. Although to you they look say in one locus, but there are two locuses. So all modifications are Chidabhasa. And all the abstract meaning is in Atma. So to know is abstract. And then knower becomes the locus of act of knowing. So therefore, two ashrayas, Vedantin says, is but we never see two ashrayas. So the question is, how do you arrive at these two locuses for Prakriti and Pratyaya? Iti ko hetuhu sannigadyatam. When accepting two locuses, please tell us what's the reason why you accept two, where the experience is there in one. And Vyakaran also says that. And then you are saying there are two. So please tell us, why do you accept these two locuses? See, slow analysis becomes subtler and subtler, and so we'll see how the Vedanta answers that. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.